Still no, nothing. Why is my mic not showing? You can hear me now, can you? Can anybody hear me now? No, good. Oh, you can hear. Okay. It's just not showing on my... okay. My audio thing is audio output. Okay. All right. Well, at least we're working anyway. That's the main thing. So, yeah, sorry about the last couple of days. We decided to do a little bit of painting. We had... still had decorations downstairs in boxes that we haven't put away. So as we moved them, the tree had scuffed some of the paint. So we thought we'd have a nice bit of a start. It's been quite mild in the UK. So I've been back and forward. I've been kind of doing a coat with a roller and then kind of sitting at the charts. But I lost another couple of accounts on Monday. I'm down to 15. I think the thing is, because it's been so slow lately, I've been getting a bit frustrated, and I've been trying to take a bit of a risky trade and give it a bit of a boost, but it isn't working. So it's a bit frustrating. So whereas I had most of my accounts locked to 1 loss a day and 1 maximum contract, I had a few that I could swap and change a bit, and I was taking the odd trade, but I don't know. The thing is, if I look on other people's streams and you listen to other people, they seem to be taking trades and making money, but for Pats, for some reason, just seems to be a bit quiet. So what can you do? So I've locked everything off now to 1 contract, 1 trade. It's the only way it works, and just hope things pick up. But it's been there just hasn't been a lot of setups. If I look back at some of my charts back from a couple of years ago, it's night and day. Well, that might be a slight exaggeration, but there was definitely a couple of obvious setups today. I mean, yesterday, I did little bits here, but if we have a quick scout at yesterday, so where's the main open down here? There's nothing down here. Now, Mac took that higher low. Well, at the moment, this thing's trending down, so I wouldn't take that higher low. Personally, the fact that it took off, there was nothing up here. There is a failure there, but it's above that EMA, so you don't know if this is like a spike in a channel. So the failure there, I don't think you could take. I would have waited for the high low, but we've got 2 legs down and a bullish bar. I can't see where we've had a break from that channel. That's a classic spike in a channel. So I bet that caught a few traders out, but you can't take the failure, in my opinion. Nothing else here, nothing up here. This stuff is just chopping up and down. And then we move up a bit. There's no setups here, nothing here. The trouble is, when we're chopping up and down, you never exactly know where we're going to go. That second got you yesterday, did it really? I understand why, mate. Do you know what it is? Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't take that, but for some reason, I talked about this briefly the other day. I just find second entries a little bit more unreliable, and I don't really know why. So I can't see how that there's any type of a break there. Look how nice that fits. We've got a touch here, touch there, perfect touch here, perfect touch here, and that's a spike and channel. It's perfect. We've got a clear 2 legs down, so let's just draw this. So we've got a channel down there with a break and a new low. Probably lower high there, but I'm surprised that didn't work. Now, if you'd have been scalping a point, it probably did, but only barely. But I'm really surprised that didn't come up and test the highs. Now, I wasn't here. What time was that? No, I wasn't at the charts yesterday. As I say, I was back and forth doing a bit of painting. That is a nice setup, really, as far as second entry goes. Having said that, I'm not sure. See, I've mentioned this before. I prefer my legs a little bit more like this, a little bit broader. You see what I mean? Leg down, a little bit of a pullback, leg down, and we didn't have that really. You may have argued, well, I'm still hard pushed to it. It could have been something like that, but I prefer them broader. Now, if my second entry longs aren't broad like this, personally, I prefer waiting for the higher low, because the higher low gives you, relatively as certain as you can, that the price is going to go up. But it's strange. Obviously, the bigger the channel, but that type of 2 legs back for that size channel is perfect. But I bet there was a few things. Well, I think, let's take pure mathematical viewpoint. Your strategy. Is there one does not work by design? Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. What I will say with Pats, you have to take obvious trades, in my opinion. Otherwise, things can go wrong. Now, when I say obvious trades, let me just give you a quick example. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Okay, let me just give you an example of what I call clear trades. Okay, that one, it's not the clearest, but we got a channel down there, 2 legs up. I took the lower high, worked. That one, same again, big channel down, 2 clear legs up, push down, a little bit of sideways. Clearly trapping a bull bar there. That for me is quite clear. That one, same again. We got a channel up, we got 2 legs down, 2 legs in that case. I like that. A little bit more risky, but down, across and down. I like the context there. We broke previous liquidity. Same again there. Perfect. Big trade down, couple of attempts. We got another retest, 2 clear legs up. See that massive big bull bar there? See, as we've had 2 pushes down, 100% there, you're going to catch traders. And a big bull bar like that, if that triggers and comes down there, 99 times out of 100, that's going to come down. For me, that was an absolute no-brainer. Let's have a look. Same again, nice trade, clearly working down. Channel break, new high, 2 pushes to a new high. I think it's always important as well, is if there's a higher low there and you're likely going to trap buyers. So same again, another clear trade for me. Is there any more? Same again, that one. We got a channel down there, 2 pushes out, a double top and a retest, and a failure. And same again, that's going to trap traders all day long. So same again, another one. We got a triple test, a little fail breakout, and a break of the channel. It's a no-brainer. That one I missed, but look how well it performed. So that's what I mean by obvious setups. You've got to take obvious, clear setups. That, to me, I wouldn't have said was an obvious, clear setup because it's not broad enough. If we got a higher low, and I could see that EMA was holding, that would be a different story. I didn't see that personally, but I just find second entries not as reliable as maybe they once used to be. can't take good trades. You only have to. The problem is you can't take the good trades. Only you have to take the bad trades to become. Only you have to take the bad trades to become successful. Oh, I know what you mean there. Okay, so we got two little legs back there. Is that going to work? Maybe. It's a bit sideways. I'm not super sure at the moment exactly what I think's going on. 1, 2, 3. There is a triple test there. But we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So I'm just sitting tight. This may fail and come down because this channel has already had a break. So I would avoid this. If we've got a very strong high or low, that might be better. There's going to be stops up here and up here. Where's bookmap? I've got bookmap on another chart. I figure you guys can get it if you want it. So there are buyers at 35. Where's 35? One tick below that bull bar. There's 154 contracts. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll hit it. If that's a very strong high or low, it may go up. But I'm leaving this at the moment because that is a fair-sized bar for a start. I got to say, Pat's is a good system, but the last 2 months, well, December, January and February, it's been really hard going. There just hasn't been as much clear setups. The trouble is, there's a million ways to skin a cat, isn't there? You know, I come across traders every day over social media and YouTube and all that. There's so many different ways people trade. It's hard to know what's good, what isn't good. One thing that I'm a firm believer of now is no strategy is easy. Understanding the setups is the easy bit. Applying them to the correct contacts, that is where the experience comes in. And if that's what you meant by taking bad trades and learning where not to take them, you know, I'd say you're right. But you know, it's not easy at the moment. It's tough for Pat's traders at the moment. Maybe it's tough for everyone at the moment. I don't know. It depends what the market's like. But I looked on the daily yesterday. Let's have a quick look at the daily. And this kind of made sense. Now, look at this. Even the daily is choppy as shit, isn't it? Look at that. If we go back a little bit, look at this. Look how nice this moves down. Look how nice this moves up. Lovely, trending nice. Much easier to trade. And then I reckon, let me have a look. Let's see when it started to go choppy. When did it start chopping? Around about here, wasn't it? November. I said December was hard, but look at it. Chop, 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 chop. And it went right through December, right up to now, right to March. Do you see what I mean? And I think that's a lot to do with why it's difficult traded at the moment. But then if you go back before Christmas, here, I look back on some of my videos, I was averaging 4 trades a week comfortably. You know, 8, 9 days out of 10, I go down to my wife. I remember saying it, yeah, one trade today. But look how nice that moves. You know, we get nice, much smoother. And then all of a sudden, once we get to November, December, chop, 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 chop. Now, that must be something to do with why trading's difficult. It can't make up its mind where it wants to go. Now, obviously, you know, things happening in the news will probably have a certain bearing on it, but you can clearly see, can't you? Much easier to trade these, and that was okay. I had a reasonably good year last year, and then chop, chop, chop. So maybe that's got something to do with it. I would think it would have to a certain degree. Now, it depends how you trade. I saw a video a while back of Tom Hugard saying every strategy goes for a period where it doesn't work as well. So, you know, perhaps current market conditions suit other types of setups, maybe on a higher time frame. The trouble is at the moment, because, you know, with these quicker, faster moving charts, price is constantly overlapping itself. And if you don't get into something really strong, you've got a chance of getting stopped out. Now, that did work in the end. I didn't think it was a bad trade. My only concern, it was 19 ticks. And we've already made 2 pushes to a new high, so I like to give this a little bit of space. So it does seem like it's going sideways, but yeah, it did take us, you know, a reasonable amount of heat, but eventually it worked. So I don't think it was a bad trade. So maybe that's got something to do with why things are difficult, but I think all you can do is keep your patience. As I say, I've lost a few accounts recently because I've been impatient and I've been trying to boost a few. Just being impatient, really, because of the frustration of not seeing a lot of setups. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, up until those couple of losses, my win rate was in about the 93%, so I was taking good setups. But that was over 3 months. I just didn't take many. But hopefully things will pick up. I think if we can get up to new all-time highs, or even something happens with Iran, that'll probably affect the markets. I was going to say negatively, but I think sometimes when something like that happens, the market tends to move a bit. So maybe there's more profit to be made when there's bad news. Not that you want bad news, of course. But you know, I'm trying to keep my patience. It has been getting the better of me a little bit, which is why I ended up losing those. I'm down to 15 accounts now, but I've got them all locked to 1 contract, 1 trade a day, and I'm out. I've just got to sit through these quieter times. As I say, even 1 winning trade in a week, it's $600 a month. And if you've got 10 accounts, 6,000 a month. So you've got 15 accounts, 9,000. So even really quiet, you can still earn good money. I've just got to try and keep that in my mind while I, you know, move through this kind of time of a little bit of frustration. Gonna say, I watched, I suppose you guys are familiar with Jess, aren't you? I watched a quick video of hers earlier. She just posted, and kudos to her. Don't get me wrong, I don't get jealous of other streamers, but what I do is respect them if they do well. And if you do well, if you can make money in this business, as far as I'm concerned, you've got my respect. I think that was the one. I think it might be on Facebook. She's just put in for I think she's got her accounts at around about between 5,000 and 7,000. But she managed to get $5,000 in 6 days on a bunch of accounts. Now, I don't know how the hell you do that, but she did talk somewhat about adding to a position. So I'm assuming she goes for bigger moves. Obviously, there's different ways to trade, isn't there? I was looking at a guy the other day and had a win rate of about 43%, but he risked 1 to make 3. So win percentage really, in most cases, is irrelevant. You know, if you're risking more than you make, you need a higher win rate. If you're making a lot more than you risk, you can take a lower rate. But fair dues to Jess, young girl. She's doing well for herself. I really like hearing stories about people doing well because it's nice, isn't it? I know how much hard work it takes. So if you can make money in this business, it doesn't matter who you are. I've got respect for you because I know how hard it is. We all know what it is. But I don't know how she's managed to get $5,000 in 6 days, or between $5,000 and $6,000 in 6 days. I mean, that's good going, isn't it? You get away with it once or twice if you were taking a risk, but if you do that on a bunch of accounts over that many days, you know you're clearly doing something right. So good for her. I would love some kind of strategy that I add to. I may look into some kind of a swing trading strategy, maybe on the hourly or something, just as a little. Mind you, I don't suppose there's any reason why you can't trade the same way. I mean, we call this Pats. We look for 2 legs back, that type of stuff. There's many strategies that do that. Pull back to the EMA, many strategies. But I suppose you could trade something like this, maybe on the 5,000 or the 10,000 tick chart, something a little bit slower, you know, that has a lot less chop. Jimmy, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, as I say, a lot of this, if you trade in an area, you can't really swing trade this stuff. It's hard. I can't tell you how many people I see have runners that get stopped out 9 times out of 10. I think it was Thomas Wade took a trade the other day. I think he got 12 points. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen him lose 6 or 8 points on a runner because the damn thing's constantly overlapping themselves. So the thing about these smaller time frames is they do tend to overlap each other. You know, with something like this, which effectively is 5 times bigger or 5... Sorry about the dogs barking. I think that's my daughter's boyfriend. But yeah, this will kind of clear up. I mean, you can trade this exactly the same way. But I don't know. I may look at a larger time frame or see what... Excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. Yes, it's just, I think Pats is just slow at the moment, this strategy. I'm all right with that. There's no point in stressing or as days where everything goes wrong, even 2 bad days go by. Not me, good mate, finally getting some decent weather in the southeast. Yeah, I believe so. I think it was it? Oh, you could hit 20 degrees in London or something, can't it? Was it 19 degrees or something like that? Where are we? What is it now? Where am I? Dog's barking. I think it's about 16, 17 degrees here, so that's lovely, I got to say. I actually went out and mowed my lawn a couple of days ago in the front garden. It was starting to look like a bit of a jungle. And we decided to do a spot of painting as well. You know, you get that warm weather, you get that kind of 16 in Kent, is it really? You know, you get that kind of warm spring thing. I always tend to want to paint in spring, freshen the place up a bit. We've literally, up until I think Saturday, had Christmas decorations still in the front room, in the corner of the room, in bags and boxes. What are you barking for, you? So we decided to get rid of them and fresh coats of nice green paint on one wall. You hate painting? I don't mind it, actually. It's the cutting in I hate. So I just did 3 cutting in coats, and then I did 1 coat on a bit of it. I'd broken it down into 3. I think I did 1 coat at about 1:30 in the morning. I got up at about 6:30 this morning, did another coat, and did one about 10:30. And it's done now, so I've just moving a few things around. So yeah, I don't mind the rolling. It's the cutting in that fries my head. I haven't got a steady hand like I used to. So 50. Let's have a look. So we've got 261 contracts up there. It's hard to know where this thing's going now, whether it's going to come down. Who knows? Kirk, how you doing, buddy? I regularly incorporate a ton of different techniques I bring forward from trading. Yeah, what I will say is, if you learn another strategy after already being a trader, it's easier than, teaching trade, because, for the most part, one thing happens when you've been trading a while is you understand how price generally moves. And that's a big plus. So the trouble is with a lot of this stuff, when you're trying to trade it with tight stops, you've got no room for... Something's just changed on my chart. Oh, it's that. You've got no room for error, because I don't know how many times over the last 5 years I've been stopped out by a tick or two and it's gone in the same direction. And that's the downside of trading really small margins. You haven't got no room for error. So if you take that chart up a little bit, the 2000 tick chart, and then change it to maybe the 10,000 or the 5,000, you probably get rid of a lot of this noise. So I've not really spent too much time looking at larger charts, but I think it might be time to maybe start. I've actually got rid of the CL chart now. To be honest with you, I found it absolute crap. It's junk, I think. So I even looked at the Russell, I think, a couple of days ago, but I don't know. So I've decided just to get rid of it and just try and do a better job of this. Just try and focus on the one chart. If anybody doesn't know, the one on the left is just it's just break at end of day deselected, and it just makes a difference of 400-500. It's supposed to be about 500-600 ticks. And it just, if the context is right, but the setup isn't brilliant, I can't seem to get enough of a distance between them. If the context is good, but the setup isn't perfect, sometimes that second chart can give you a slightly better bar. I can't seem to get a decent enough gap between these two for some odd reason, but there's only about 300 difference. I like to have about 5 or 6. But yeah, the trouble is when it's noisy like this, sometimes it does make things a little harder. Maybe try micro MNQ. Mate, I'll tell you what, I'm a coward when it comes to the NQ. It moves. Yeah, you could do, I suppose. You could maybe trade 3 contracts, 3 micros or something. I've tried it a few times, not for long. I used to use a bookmark. I am, mate. Yeah, I've got it on a separate chart here. I've got it on a full screen. If I can move it. Yeah, I've had to make it smaller, move it, but I've got it. I've got 4 screens now. I only was using 3, but I've stuck another one. So I didn't put it on here like I used to. I figure if you guys want to see it, you can. It's not very large on there anyway, so you probably... but yeah, so I have got it full screen on another one, so I can see it a bit clearer for me. But yeah, you guys can... NQ can be wiki. It'll get you nutty, does it? Yeah. I think, and also possibly NQ, you may need slightly bigger stops. That's the one downside to Pats, is the tight stops. You literally have no room for error. Now, if you take a good solid setup, I would say 98% of the time that's going to work. But I don't see a huge amount around at the moment. And there lies the dilemma. If you're only taking 1 or 2 trades a week, is it enough? It doesn't feel like it's enough, but if you look at it from a financial point of view, 2 trades a week, but let's call them winning trades for argument's sake. If you wait patient enough, you shouldn't take many losses when you get a bit more experience. So that's what, $300. That's $1,200 on a month, maybe a bit more. So you could afford to take a loss. So if you had say 8 winners and then a loss, it's still $1,000 a month. And if you've got 15 accounts like I have, $15,000 a month, it's a pretty good wage, isn't it? And then obviously, you could add another 5 to it and then Tradeify and so on and so forth. So maybe 2 trades is enough, but I think the trouble is sometimes when you listen to other traders saying, 3 today, I'm kind of the worst one. If I'm looking at something like this is Thomas Wade, someone will go, that's it, I'm done for the day, 3 winning trades. And I'm thinking, I can't remember the last time I took 3 trades in a week, let alone in a day. But I don't know whether this guy is taking an evaluation or whether he's doing a sim or whether he's, taking bigger moves with bigger stops and getting a bit lucky. You really don't know what to believe when you see traders saying 3 trades a day. I look at Thomas Wade for the most part, he takes 1 to 2 a day. Sometimes he doesn't take 1. So taking 3 a day, I think is extreme personally. But if you're, trading a sim or an evaluation, that's quite probable. That's a really good question, that, Sean. I've had to think about that myself, bud. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, and if I'm honest, if I see a really good, solid trade, I don't pay attention to what Bookmap's telling me. So you may be right. Perhaps I've had Bookmap for a while, and maybe just seeing where other traders are is helping me. I don't think it won't stop me taking a really solid trade. So I don't think it makes me miss out on trades. I think it gives me the confidence where prices like to go. Don't mind what others do. Yeah, cheers, Jimmy. The trouble is when you're taking a couple of trades in a week and you're hearing about other people taking, you do wonder, you kind of question yourself, am I being a little bit too cautious? But I always think if it's better to be on the side of caution than the careless side. Obviously, there's the extreme, isn't it? You could be overcautious where you're not taking any trades, which is better than being careless and losing a bunch. But I don't think it's messing with me head. See, if I'm looking at Bookmap now, I can see there are orders up here and I can see there are orders at 35. So I do like to know where other traders are. But if I saw an absolute beautiful trade, I wouldn't pay attention to Bookmap. So there begs the question, do I really need it? But I do like the fact that I can see there are a bunch of sellers up here, which is telling me there is a fair chance price could go up. Now, at quick glance at the moment, we've had a move up with a break, 2 pushes to a new high, and we try to push higher. Now, this is starting to look like a possibility of a downtrend. Now, at the moment, it's only really 2 legs and not really a trend. But when you start to see this, your natural thought process is to go, this looks like it's starting to move down. Maybe I should start looking for shorts. But when you look at Bookmap, I have to make it smaller to move it for some reason. When you look at Bookmap, this is telling me there's still an awful lot of sellers up here. So I don't, it might keep my head balanced as the chart's looking like it's going down, but there are sellers up here, so perhaps it might not go that way. So I still think it's worth having. But that's a good question, mate, that is. I think it's good to ask yourself these questions. I had the same with I used to have the NQ chart here, and if I saw a trade on here, I'd look on the NQ and but I just think it's all part of being a trader. Sometimes you have that lack of confidence and you look for some kind of a crutch, something to just prop your confidence up. So maybe it was that, but I have seen Thomas Wade and a couple of other trades take setups that I wouldn't take because of where orders are on Bookmap. So I don't think it hinders me. I don't think it helps me as much as I thought it might, but I think it's useful to understand where those traders are and to not just kind of assume. I can tell you what happens when you're not cautious. Yeah. Yeah. Been there, mate. I've blown over 1,400 evaluations. That's careless. But sometimes you've got to go to these extremes to start realizing that fighting the markets doesn't work. I still have those moments of weakness, not on all the accounts. I still have that protective measure over the bulk of them, but I will still take a separate account and take a risk. I did it a few weeks ago, lost a couple of accounts, and I did it on Monday and lost another couple. So I've just got to get rid of that and just focus. I think by far the best mantra I should have, if a trade's not good enough to trade all my accounts on it, I should let it go. I just think that natural kind of frustration, because we haven't seen a lot of trades, I think it's getting to me. And I try to kind of be the smart guy and try and take a risk, and it backfired. And the more you do it and the more it backfires, the less you start to do it. So I'm just going to kill the colour on that. So it's an area of interest, but not necessarily something I'm happy with. Revenge is the enemy. It absolutely is. So at the moment, I've got my Guardian Angel set to 1 contract, 1 loss, and I'm out. I can't change it, so that will protect me. Not that I think I need it on the bulk of the accounts. So I'm getting rid of that now. I don't think I need that. This looks to me like we've had a break, maybe a couple of legs up. So this does look to me like it may be reversing. Kind of 2 legs. Having said that, I still have to pay attention. It's a pain. To these. Now, what I've noticed, the further these are away from price, the less of a kind of what it's like with a magnet, the closer you are them, the less of that kind of magnetic pull it has. And you can see there's slightly more aggressive sellers. So being that far away and having more aggressive sellers, you can see what's happening. It's slowly, pushing price down. So the trouble is, I could be sat here waiting for it to pull up, and traders up there with orders may decide the thing's going down, there's no point in, and they disappear. So, I am aware of that as well. But that's a good question, Sean, that is, because you do have to, evaluate yourself. I'll see what I did as well. I picked up TradeZella yesterday just to try it for a month. I haven't put anything into it yet, but I've been doing my own. But I have decided to try this now and to start. I'm going to start afresh, put everything into here. It's a bit of a pain in the arse with doing it on Excel, so I think it's time now to start kind of looking at this a little bit more professionally. So we've all been there. Just stay with the plan and you'll be fine. It's frustrating sometimes. It is, mate. Yeah, you're not wrong. I think sometimes when you start to make money and you start to kind of have that slow incline of growth, you naturally think all those demons have disappeared. I think even professional traders sometimes bend the rules a bit. Maybe you move your stop, or you give yourself a little bit more risk than you probably shouldn't. I still think there's always going to be that element about it. But I do keep trying to... I think it's good to assess yourself, isn't it? Now and again, think about it. I tell you what I'm going to start doing is journaling. Just writing down how I feel at the end of the day. Maybe just, do 5 minutes of journaling before the charts, write what my plan is for the day and then how it went after, just to kind of, get it out in the open a bit. But I think trading's about it's not about perfection. I mean, we're human beings. There's not such thing as trading without emotion. It's a myth. There'll always be a certain amount of emotion, especially if you're trading for money. But it's how you control that, and it's limiting it. You know, obviously, you risk too much. That's going to play a big part of it. But you know, you will get better. Why something's cooking? You will get better at it, and it'll have less of an effect on you. Another thing I'm going to start doing as well is when I get into a trade is just leave it. I can't tell you how many trades I've got into that I've got out for lack of confidence. It comes back on me a little bit, and it went on to make the full amount. That's another thing I admire about Thomas Wade. You never see him move it; he just leaves it. I think I've seen him once or twice get out for break even, but I would say 98, 99 times out of 100, he gets into his order and he leaves it. I admire that. He's got a lot of really solid characteristics, Thomas Wade does. So let me have a look at this. So it is about self-assessment, isn't it? Just, you know, trading is a difficult business. It does feel to me like you're kind of a professional sportsman. You know, you've got to be constant on your mental side of it as well. In Reg Pro, if you want to level up, better be able to take a loss without loss. The trouble is, that's another thing that I'm frustrated with Pat's, is Mac never ever talks or discusses about losses. And I've entered into a strategy that I believe I should be right all the time. That's where I need to aim to get to. And it sets you up for a fall. I'm guessing a lot of you guys understand where I'm coming from. If you start a strategy where part of that strategy, Little Hammer, how you doing? If you start a strategy where part of that strategy is losses are part of the game, you have to accept them, you have to talk about them, you'll take that in with you. But I spent 4.5 years trading Pats with losses almost being taboo. Mac, you've never ever seen Mac talk about his loss. Hey, Lance, Mark Douglas, the first thing you learn is anything can happen. It's absolutely. But Mac has kind of taught us that losses, they're not really there. And it's wrong, really, isn't it? It sets you up for failure, because when you do take losses, messes with your brain. I mean, I've been trading 5 years on now, and they still do my head in losses, because they've never really been a part of my game, because they've never really been discussed. And the trouble is, you can even see how that reflects on the Facebook group, because no one posts their losses, because they all kind of feel it's some kind of, you know, you shouldn't really get them. Why did it happen? Why did you lose? Blah, blah, blah. Because Mac's kind of missed that. And I don't mean that in a nasty way to Mac. Let's enjoy the channel. What time frame is this? This is the 2000 tick chart. And what that means is 2000 trades or 2000 executions within each of these bars. Now, the good thing about these is look how well these bars are like one another. If you go on to, let's talk the 2 minutes, look at the contrast. You've got massive bars, you've got tiny bars, you've got medium bars, and it's very hard to mitigate your risk, but the 2000 tick chart gives you a lot of information, and all the bars are the same. So this is kind of, you know, what we do. I've seen Mac take red and blue arrows off the chart during the review after he realizes they don't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mac is a lovely guy, but there is a big flaw in what he's teaching us. He's teaching us to trade the trades and the setups, absolutely his experience. But now, yeah, in 10 years' time, you may take very little losses, But while you're learning, you're going to take a stack of them. So they need to be talked about. You know, it's like death, isn't it? As soon as someone mentions death, you get that weird, let's not talk. You get, you know, dying is as much a part as living. It's perfectly normal. But if you avoid the subject, it kind of becomes a bit weird, doesn't it? So it's important to talk about losses. I've never heard Mac ever in the 5 years I've been trading him say, you know, losses are going to happen. It's part of it. Don't worry about it, blah, blah. And by not talking about that, he's put a little bit of a spanner in the works that, you know, people avoid talking about losses. People avoid posting losses. It's embarrassing. It's, you know, that's another reason I admire Thomas Wade. I don't think I've ever seen Dan or Marco post a loss, you know, and that's nothing at them. They're both what I consider friends and work colleagues, and they've helped me out. But there almost seems to be kind of a weird aroma around trading losses, especially with Pats. Every other strategy or video you watch, that's one of the first things they talk about. You learn more from it. Absolutely you do, yeah. There's nothing like a good lesson than going out and getting a good battering in the markets. But yeah, absolutely right. You lose a certain, you know, if you're taking a certain trade or a certain style of trade again and again, we may get a triple test here, taking those trades and constantly losing it, you'll sooner or later come to the, you know, I've been here before. Oh, I've been losing at these before. Let's leave this. And that feeling you get when you leave it, and it would have triggered you and stopped you out, it's a nice feeling. And that's when you start to get that feeling that you're starting to understand it. And as painful as losses can be, they're great lessons. They are invaluable. Fair greater impact on the absolutely. But because Max never really discussed them, it's always been taboo, we find it hard to accept them. I certainly do anyway. You know, sorry if I'm yabbering a bit too much today, but I'm gleaning a lot from it. Yeah. But yeah, I watched Tom Hugard maybe 6 months ago. Now we've all heard of Tom Hugard. If anybody hasn't, he wrote the book Best Loser Wins. He's a seasoned trader. He's been doing it for a long time. He's worked as an institutional trader as well. I saw him take 3 losses in a row. Can't have been nice for him, but it made me feel great. Just to see true professionals taking 3 losses in a row. But yeah, losses with Pat seem frowned upon for some odd reason. So I don't know. In fact, that might be a good topic for discussion in the Facebook group. It'd be nice to just get a people's opinion on losses. But yeah, when you don't see many people talking about losses or even showing losses. Trades 100 contracts at a time, does he really? It's that probability thing, isn't it? I'm guessing he probably risked 1 to make 3 or 2 or 4 or somewhere along those lines. So, and if you trade like that, if you go for more profit than you risk, you have to accept losses because you will get them. So I think, you know, having a higher win rate and taking less losses with Pats sometimes can be kind of mentally detrimental because you don't experience the loss thing much. Okay, so if we get a pop out here, now, if we get a pop out here, I will probably have a go at a triple test here. How big are the bars? They're not too bad at the moment. Some of these are, but we've had 2 legs down. We're clearly going sideways. If it pushes up, clear some of those stops, we may get a second entry long and we may continue down. The only concern I have is there are sell orders up there, but they're still quite far away and they're not huge. They're up here. So I want to push out here really. That way there's trapping longs here. Take out some of these stops and then maybe a flush down. So let's just have a little... Yeah, we have had 2 measured legs down, but we're struggling to go anywhere here. Now, a lot of the time, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like a quadruple test there. You're going to have buyers trying to buy here. Be interesting to see if we get reaction. I'm looking for rejection now. And if I don't like that one, I could consider a lower high. That would technically be a second entry short. Let me have a look. Let me just get an order ready. I want to see how it finishes. No, I don't like it. It's not really showing me strong rejection. See if we get a lower high. I expect that to go up there and drop really bullish. Sorry, bearish, but it's not. So let's leave this.
Order cancelled.
So touch. At the moment, I've got this without colour. In other words, it's an area of interest. Not something I would kind of trust. It's a bit congested as well, so sitting tight. It would have been kind of, if it was right, it would have been a nice second entry short, but as I say, although I've got that channel, it's not set in stone. That's why I've got rid of the colour. It's a possibility. It just gives me a guideline of what to look for where. Yeah, we've got 2 measured legs down, but if we're struggling to go up, a lot of the time then it will continue down. Clearly struggling at the moment, aren't we? Let's see what happens. This is looking like it's on its way down, but I still don't trust it at the moment because it is a bit... it's a little bit sideways and it could flip. You're quite likely trap shorts there, so that could rock it up. Yeah, this is just congested now. That bear bar there is triggered. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if it pushed up a bit. Yes, if you'd have got in there, triggered, stopped. It's just, there's something not right about it. I want to see real strong rejection. I'd rather see that go up, clear liquidity, and then see that close really strong below that EMA, which didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't just look for a short randomly. I'd want to see real rejection. There's always the possibility that this could come down for a second leg. I get you got kind of a smaller leg, but there's always that possibility we could get this. This just may a bigger correction. It may well still come down, but it depends what kind of day we've got. See, another thing I'm looking at as well is a shoulder, head, shoulder, which is a bearish pattern. So we could just get a couple of legs up and this thing could launch down. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So it's one of those things, isn't it? So there are certain things that I'll mark and I'll be looking at, but I'll want to see something really heading, strongly on the way I'm looking for. Two clear legs down. It depends. I look for two clear legs. Yes, if we get legs, then we're struggling to get up. Then often we will get two. Sometimes then these two, because sometimes when we get these legs, sometimes they get broken up into two. Sometimes the first leg, see here, we got one leg, two legs, maybe up to here, broken into two. So this could be one leg. Now, I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if we did something like this, and each of those legs are broken down into two individual little moves. So I'm on the fence at the moment. We've had the move up with the break, two pushes up, so we're looping down at the moment, and this is an attempt to push up. But same again, shoulder, head, shoulder. Although I don't trade patterns, I am aware that this is a possible pattern. And if it is that pattern, a lot of traders do this thing then could drop. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I've got no idea where price is going to continue up or come down, but that doesn't look too bad, especially when we go sideways. But there's a little bit of uncertainty there, so you may well have traders trying to push this thing up. My honest feeling, I think we're going to get a second leg. Just based on the whole thing, really. But I could be completely wrong. Don't tell my wife that. I have put in for a small payment as well. Just on one of my accounts. Most of my accounts are around about the 900 to 1300 mark, but one of them is a little bit higher, 1340. So I did put in for $1,300. It's just taking a while. I think they're a bit slow at the moment. I think they are moving towards quicker payments. I think it's been 3 days or whatever, but I'm not fussed. There's no violations. On all of my accounts, I've got one violation on the 5th of February. Everything, I went for them all yesterday. Everything's clear. So I don't foresee a problem. But I do believe Apex are moving towards quicker payments, quicker approvals and quicker payments. I think that's got a lot to do with the if you've got any, move up a bit, can I just say what are they called? Not evaluations, what are they? What's the red mark on your account? What do they call it? My head's gone blank. I'm assuming that's how they'll, the computer will see whether there's any sort of infringements on your account and the things that we picked up. But I think they need to, Apex, obviously, they know they've got to keep on top of things with other, prop firms in the market. You've got to constantly be on your game, haven't you? No, $2,600. If you've got $2,600 in your account, you can take $500. You always, when you get to $2,600, you can take $5, but then you've always got to keep $2,100 in your account. My one account is $3,404.50. So I can take $1,300 out of that. I just wanted to just get something. just to get that final reward. These accounts, you know, I lost a bunch last year, didn't I? I had my kind of final last stand, and I decided just to trade properly. And when you trade properly, they do grow slower. But even over last month, I think my accounts were up over the month 10,700, I think. So even on a crap month, a monthly payment, you know, can be pretty good. Obviously, the downside with prop firms is you've got to make money before you can start getting paid. That's that frustrating thing. So I think shoulder, head, shoulder, leg down with a break. My gut feeling is a second leg down. So let's just put a fib on that and see where that got up to. So that bounced 3 times up off that 61.8, which is all right, I think. We'll see. See where it goes. It could carry on up. But just, you know, based on what I'm seeing, there's obviously going to be some resistance there, and it's playing a part again there. So this thing could come crashing down. I think crashing, well, it looks like it, doesn't it? I think crashing down is probably a strong word, but see what I mean? Shoulder, head, shoulder. I don't trade patterns, but if I think, hold on a minute, if I'm going long into a possible pattern, but there you go. So channel down, slightly larger break than normal. And then I'll be amazed if that doesn't get down to the low. It's really steep, that is. I won't be trading on one day next week. I think it's the 4th. Me and my wife are taking my daughter to see Leve in concert in Manchester. I think it's the 4th of March. Yeah, next Wednesday, so I won't be trading next Wednesday. So that's what I mean about the larger legs. This is what it's looking like. So my guess is we may pull back here, but once we break those lows there, I'm guessing we may pull back. Yeah, Mac's got the same chart, which is encouraging. We may pull back to something like that. So Mac's got this move down as well. So it is looking like we could move down. So have we broken the lows? Yeah, we have. So we've broken the lows. I'd like to see a couple of little legs up, maybe do something like that. So that's a possibility. I mean, you used to, going back about a year or so, when you had 2,600, you used to be able to withdraw 2,000. Trouble is, you're left with about $500 then, so 19 times out of 20, you'll end up blowing the account. So the best thing Apex did was to stop that, really. I think they did it, obviously, to save money. But, you know, the way they save money, actually, by putting rules out there, is better for the trader, really. So, in my opinion, that's the best thing they did. Certainly going to help you value things a bit more and not just trying to take everything you've got. So, another thing here, mentioning legs down. See this move here that we had broken into 2 initially? Look at the 10,000 tick chart. So that's as one leg, isn't it? And we've got a break, and this is looking very much like we're making the second leg. So that's what I think is going to happen. See, here we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So technically that's played out. So then it's always possible we could reverse. So I was going to draw that. Maybe. I'd like to see some move up here. So, still got these orders up here on Bookmap. I've been there a while now. So, shoulder, head, shoulder, which is a bearish pattern, and the thing dropped like a stone, didn't it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 points straight down in 3, 4 bars. So they do seem to. I think it's certainly worth to be aware of them, because if you're thinking about going long here, that might well keep you out of a trade. So there are buyers at 30, which is below there. There are also buyers at 25. So my guess is those buyers would be right where that second leg would be. So my guess is we're going to get a pullback here, and then we're going to move down. That's what my guess is, just based on what prices show me at the moment. Whether it'll happen. Yeah, it's lovely in the UK at the moment. I might have to dig my fishing gear out, actually, and get it ready for the slightly warmer weather. Nothing nicer than sitting near the riverbank. I've got a beautiful lake teeming with carp, about 1.25 miles from my front door. Perfect. See, Thomas Wade has got that. He said he was looking for a second entry long here. I think if he gets a higher low above there, he may go long. My guess is this thing is quite likely going to continue down. Personally, I certainly wouldn't go short here, but I think that we'll do somewhere along the lines of this. Could be slightly. It's quite steep that compared to that one, so it may be a little bit less steep. We'll see. Let's leave it there. See what happens. So I've got buyers down here. See, there's 121 contracts there to buy. 194. There's 100 just above it. But there is equal amount up here. But this is a lot further away, so it has less of a pull than this does. And the way we've had this, my guess is this will come down. I'd like to see that push up a little bit more. Maybe something like that. Trouble is the EMA is there now, so I might just leave it. If it's going to drop, that's probably where it's going to drop from. See, what I'm seeing at the moment is there are more sellers up here. There's some there. And some at 37. Which is there, mind you. That wouldn't be too bad. If we got up to the sellers, that would bring it down at that kind of angle that I changed it to a minute ago. So 750. It's a little bit higher, 750. So that'd be okay. Hit those sellers there, and then maybe. Let's see what happens here. Ultimately, I'm not bloody sure what it's doing, to be honest with you. That's another one of those days. I'm looking for bulls trapped here. There's no real higher low, is there, which would be trapping bulls? If we had a strong higher low, then something like that wouldn't be a bad short if it fell right. It certainly doesn't look like it's pushing up to me. Certainly not strong. So yeah, that 90% off finish yesterday. Thanks to everybody who uses my code. I do appreciate it. It really helps me, never more than at the moment as well when things are tight. So if you use it at any time, or certainly over these watts, I thank you. It does help me, especially when I'm not getting much in the way of payments at the moment. So, but I try and do you guys fair. You know, my advice is keep it low until you're making money. So, you know, it helps me, but I don't want you to do it as that's detrimental to your finances, which is why I always, you know, talk about if you're quite new, only ever have one and just keep it simple. But if you do use it or you have used it, thanks. It does. I do appreciate it. Hopefully it won't be long before they have another. They tend to. I know they talked about not having many of the 90% off again, but they seem to have had quite a few lately. But whatever you do, don't get yourself into financial difficulty. Keep it simple. Right, are we going to get a second leg? See what I mean about those leg and a leg and then possibly two legs down again? Often it'll look like two legs, and then when you look at it a little bit broader. Mind you, the thing could hightail and scream up, couldn't it? But I'm starting to think this is more likely going to go down. But what do I know? In fact, while it's figuring out what it wants to do, I'm going to go and make a quick cup of tea. I don't like to get in, but at the moment, I don't know whether this is definitely coming down. It looks like it may be. I certainly wouldn't get in here. So I'd rather make a quick drink when things are a bit quiet. So I'll be around about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so let's scrub that. Looked like it was working for a minute. Okay. Okay, so channel break, 2 pushes to a new low. So where's this thing going now? So that's played out. This is played out. So I've still got orders up here. Fact. Have a look, 47. As I say, when you've got them up here, you never know whether it's going to try again. But that's interesting. Somebody has just posted the NQ chart channel up with 2 legs back. So this, if the NQ goes up, the ES will follow it. So a little second entry long, I'd probably have a go at that. That's played. Everything's played out anyway. That's played out. That's played out. So we got a tight channel fit in here. Couple of little legs down. It'd be nice. I'm looking for buyers here on the way up. We've got buyers down there. It's a bit too low, that. We've got buyers at 30. Have a look. Sellers at 45. So if we can get 2 little legs, I'd have a go at that. Sellers all over this area, so maybe it's retesting this top or trying to. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Sellers in around about the 36-ish. Have a look. Yeah, about 36-ish, 91. Below that bull bar there. So this comes down, stops out that little bull bar, hits that EMA. You can see support and resistance along there. You can see it right the way along there. So if it comes down, drops below, stops out that, and pushes up and sits on top of there, we may get a second entry long. Fingers crossed, eh? It's got to get below that bull bar for me into those buyers. quite a lot around the 42. Look, 42.5. Loads of sellers around here, which is interesting. If we can just get that little second entry long, I wouldn't take that. It's floating in the middle of nowhere. It's got to get back here. But orders, loads of orders are all above price there. So 2 little legs down, I'd at least expect it to break above there. Nah, didn't quite tap the EMA, but then just up we went. It's a bit better. Yeah, it's a shame I wasn't here a bit earlier. I'd have jumped all over that. I just noticed Dan marked it. I did see it when I was tracking back. Really nice 2 legs down, confirming that channel. It's nice, that is. It's not a huge risk, I don't think. Pre-market, that is. What's the bar size? So, yeah, 3.25 point. Tick above, tick below. It's all right, that is. Worked really nice. That as well. I looked at it, but I left it. The bar was 19 ticks. when you've had it pushed to, you just don't quite know what's going to happen. You don't know whether we're going to rush down or what, but it did work. So we're about to start it in sellers, starting with this. There's 132 contracts there, and there's 1,000 contracts between there and 50. Yeah, about 1,000 contracts. So my guess is it's going to break that high and here and test these levels. It's just a shame we didn't get anything. We had a couple of bars back and it just took off. See if this is going to continue up. There may be something like that. It's hard to say. Just for now, let's leave it actually. Now, the only other option is that's a possibility as well. Two legs and the thing drops. With all the orders above here, I'd say that's likely, but we certainly see that pattern a lot, don't we? If we do something like that, I wouldn't be surprised. Hmm. I mean, although there's a lot of orders up here, there's always the possibility this thing drops. I don't think it will, based on what I can see on Bookmap. As I say, there are 1,000 contracts up there, but you never know. We've got this move down. It could be one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Look how fast that thing came down. That looks like it was on its way. Now, we had a channel there. It looked okay to me, and we pushed down. So we've got one leg up, 2 attempts to bounce, a second leg up. It certainly could fail and come down. It may do, in which case we come down, push below here, retest it, and come down for maybe a second. Maybe the legs work out like this instead. Possibly a leg like that, and then maybe leg down, couple of attempts to go higher, followed by a second leg. That's another possibility. I don't think that's right. It was just a... So that's played out now. So that little channel's played out, and at the moment we've got what looks like the start of something. Moving down currently. See, looking on the 10,000 tick chart, that one did move up, but I didn't like it. It kind of does look like a bottoming pattern, that, doesn't it? There. So I've got the 10,000 tick there just to give me a little bit of perspective. But you can trade this as well. It works exactly the same. The beauty of this is you may avoid some of the... have a look. So that's basically that move down. You know, if you decided to take a trade here, you can get stopped out. If we had 2 legs up, and this was a different bearish one, but if you look at this, that's all that is. All this stuff is just this bit here. We get that move up, don't we? Which is that initial push up, isn't it? Followed by that shove down. And then that long off the bottom, this bottom is there. So this is certainly tradable. Obviously, I'm guessing those bars are obviously a lot bigger. So you would have to mitigate that with micros. So, I mean, I don't know if you took that. Let's say you took that long there. What's that? 7.5 points. Okay. Not as big as I thought. So maybe trade that on 3 or 4 contracts on micros. So 1 micro will be $75, so I tend to risk about 150, so you could trade 2 micros. But it's a little bit slower, this, and you do avoid, see this move up there, you do avoid a lot of the mess, so you never know. I've got it up, I've had it on and off for a while, but I'm looking at it. I'm going to go over these charts at the end of the day or later in the evening and just see you know, if I saw anything that may constitute for a good setup. We do see them sometimes, but obviously we don't tend to trade them, so we don't pay too much attention to it. But it certainly would slow things down and avoid a lot of this. The good thing about that as well is you got more chance of holding a runner as well because of the noise. So 2 legs up. Where's this? Look, it doesn't look like it's going up there unless it's going to bounce support and then push up. Just with what it looks like, we've got a move down, 1 attempt to push up, a second attempt to push up, and it just couldn't get up here. So my guess is, you know, I think this is going to come down. But same again, we got the move down, and then we've got the 2 legs up. 1 and the second leg, 2 attempts to push high, both times that rejected quick, and this one pretty quick as well. So you're going to have one hell of a lot of buyers here. So leg down. On a big scale, it's a second entry short. 2 legs up. So if this gets below that EMA and doesn't reject here, my guess is that'll head for there and stop that out. And if it does, it'll likely get a second leg down. So if I was a betting man, that's where I would guess price is likely to go. Leg down, 2 attempts of pushing to the highs, followed by failure. That's if it does, and down there. So a lower high on the 10,000 tick chart, you could probably take an head for this area because you're bound to get some stops there, 100%. Now, as I say, that's unless we don't get any rejection here. You can see that right the way along there, bounce, bounce, bounce. So this could push up higher. Look at that thing go. Now, I did mention that if we don't get any rejection here and it pushes through, then my guess is it's coming down, but who knows? Mind you, we've got a channel down here. We may get a second entry shorty and this could come down, but looking on the 10,000 tick chart, you got a nice bearish bar there and it's triggered and it's starting to move up. Would you really want to get in for a short here? EMA's got a slight rise to it, but it's basically flattish. So who knows? We've triggered the bear bar. It could push high and test the highs, or it could come down and clear out these lows. Your guess is as good as mine. But you can see bounce once, bounce twice, bounce 3 times onto resistance. But on the second chart, look at that. Nice channel down with the break. Looks much better here than it does there. So 30. There are a lot of buyers down here at 30. So looking at Bookmap, I would say there are slightly more sellers up here than buyers. At a market that's doing this, my guess is a lot of this is going to be taken over by aggressive buyers and sellers, and seeing this rejection quite strong from this area. My guess is, even though there are slightly more selling orders up here, my guess is this is more likely going to test these lows than push higher. Not that I would trade it. How's everybody else doing today? Shh, Wilson, shush. Shh. Wilson, stop it, lad. You barking for? What are you barking for, eh? Come on. What are you barking for, eh? What are you barking for? Let's get you comfy. Let's get you comfy. There you go. Let's get you comfy. What are you barking at, eh? What are you barking at? Barking at. Oh, let's get you comfy. Like that. Okay. Now, as we've had 3 bounces on top of support, who knows, this thing may decide to push higher or to try and push higher. Okay, that 10,000 tick chart, I would not want to be in that red bar. Now, is that going to stop that out? I think there's a pretty good chance. As we know, prices move towards liquidity. We know there's liquidity up here. We can see it on Bookmap. So is it going to push higher? It's looking like it. We're clearly holding above that EMA, certainly on the 10,000 tick chart. So it's looking likely. 2 moves up like that, you're quite likely going to have liquidity above there in the way it stops. But you just never know. Stranger things have happened. But as I say, if you look on the main chart on Bookmap, you can see these orders up here. So your guess is as good as mine. So 42.5. 42.5 is now gone. When's the next lot? Around about 43, which is 1 tick above there, and 45, then about 47, 48, and up there above highs. So yeah, so although we had the 2 moves up there, it came down, bounced off support, and off it went. There was a kind of a break and a new low there, all in one anyway. You may argue there's a small break and new low, but we got a matching low here, but a big strong buy like that off this area. It never triggered anyway. But at the moment, yeah, it's just hard to know where it's going. As I say, there are larger orders up here, so that may pull prices, and it certainly looks like it's starting to. So maybe, based on these sellers up here, it may test this area again. Certainly looks like it. No setup anywhere really here. There's nothing you can do, unfortunately. Mm. Okay, so we are pushing through these orders. So up as far as 50 that I've got on the main chart. That should be about 47 and a half. Yeah. Excuse me. Kind of hoping we get a little bit of a pullback here and it's just took off, isn't it? Let's have a little zoomy. Okay, 10,000 tick charts. We've got to move up with a break and new high. We got a channel down with a break new low, a retest, and a strong move up. Now, is this retesting these highs? It looks like it might, or it's trying to. Is it going to push higher? Same again. It might. It's hard to say at the moment. We could have something like that. I just don't know at the moment. It's not super clear. So half the battle is getting the direction right. Certainly looks like it's pushing up at the moment. Unfortunately, there's no way to enter. Certainly not from my perspective. Channel there, maybe a break and a matching low. There's no high low there if you wanted to. Now we've had very close to a measured leg up here. We're very close to the highs. Certainly the bar. Look, if I bring that down there, we've had a bounce. There's always that possibility this thing could turn into a range, in which case it may have a small pullback and continue down. So if I draw that like that, in fact, that definitely looks like a range. Now, if this thing's going to push higher, we could do this. 2 attempts, so maybe 1, 2, 3, and then up for a second leg. Let's just call it a rough guess. Let me just change this colour for some reason. I'm not seeing as bright as you guys. Let me do that there. It is starting to look very rangy. It fits perfectly at the top. Now, what's the chance? 2 bars there, perfect. 2 bars there and 2 bars there. In fact, 2 bars and a stem. That's fitting perfectly. 2 nice legs up. Now, be interesting to see what happens here, whether there's traders taking this long. As it's bouncing where it is, I wouldn't be surprised if this trapped traders and came down. Now, looking on Bookmap, there's 257 contracts there. There's equal couple amounts a little bit below there. Let's call it around about here where that measured move is. Yeah, about 48. Where that measured move is. So this may push up and hit them sellers. That would break the overnight highs. But as I say, I won't be surprised if traders get trapped here and this thing pushes down. If you get enough, even with those orders up here, if you get enough aggressive sellers here, this thing may come down. I'm just sitting tight here. I'm not going long at the moment. I'm not going long into support, and I'm not going short either because I don't. I want to see some rejection. Okay. Quick shoot up there. So that's hit those one load of sellers. There is some a little bit further up. So channel rate. So that channel's played out. Now, so the line in the sand for me is 50. There are 265, 260 odd contracts right there. So it'd be interesting to see what the reaction is here. Yeah, so just looking at this 10,000 tick chart, it is hugging that line nice. I mean, it could continue up. It's certainly possible. So overnight highs here. So if we can hit that, my guess it'll have a quick shove up and hit those orders anyway, I think. Those orders are about 4 ticks above overnight highs anyway. $300 contracts up there. Up we go. Boom. Boom. Come on. Boom. That was an anticlimax. Okay, I'm pretty sure it hit those sellers now. There's 323 contracts sat there. No reason why they wouldn't get hit. We've broken overnight highs. So this is a crunch bit. What's it going to do when it hits these sellers? Is it going to absorb them and push straight through? There are more and more orders starting to, as usually happens. But I want to see some stronger, aggressive sellers. It's bounced off those at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's certain of it. There are a few. Let's have a look. They're getting hit now, I think. Some of them have gone. But there are buyers getting in just below here. Who knows? I'd certainly expect it to push a little touch higher, I think. It's going to rush in one way. Yeah, there are starting to become more and more orders. 52.5. So there. I expect it to push up a little bit quicker than that. 55. And further up as well, about 56. So it does look like price is being drawn higher. It's a frustrating day today because it's just, I don't know, it's just more of the same, isn't it, at the moment? Just nowhere to get in, I don't think. So there's some more orders gone. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a quick minute. Is there something larger? It's possible. Not sure. Someone else is thinking possibly something larger. Maybe there is. Got a little channel there anyway, so I expect a push up. Okay, so book map. There are buyers at 50, which is there, and a bit lower, around about the 48.5, which is there. So, couple of legs down, there are buyers here, so I believe that may go higher because 50, 53, 55 and higher, up to 55, there are sellers there. So, we can get 2 legs back here. I think there's a good chance this gets up. So we got a channel with a break. If we can push down here, there may be a second entry long. Buyers here, buyers here. For me, it's got to get close to that EMA, really. Okay, they're gone. So if there is a bigger channel like that, buying here is risky, isn't it? Let me just kill that colour, because I'm not 100% certain, but it doesn't look that bad. Trouble is, if it is a channel, you may be buying into the top part. That always makes me nervous. Let's clear some of this up a bit. So what I'd like to see is something like that with a break and then down to here. So how this is looking, there's always that possibility that we have a second leg up. We've got a bit of a correction of sorts, haven't we? So I'd be looking for a leg with a break and another leg. Something along those lines. Looking nice on the 10,000 tick chart. Fitting nice up there. So we'll see. We can get down to this side, little zigzag down. Okay, so channel with a break. I'd like to get up here a little bit and then a second leg down. Excuse me just a sec. Okay, so what I'd like now is this. Don't know if we're going to get it. That thing looks like it wants to take off. So bookmap, what have we got? There are sellers at 52, which is about right. There, sellers there. There are buyers at 47. 47.5, which is there. Perfect. Second leg down right to here. Perfect storm area. Come on, get up the goat. Down you come. Come on. That's what we wanted. Now come down. So what we want here is a move down and a lower high and a bull bar trapping the shorts, and then we may get a move up. me a second. Ah, that's where I wanted to get to. Perfect. Thing is, there's a bloody inside bar on it. What a crapper. That's frustrating. That's perfect. 2 perfect legs down. Oh, that's so annoying. And an inside goddamn bar. Those bloody bells. I can't get a decent enough gap between my bars for some reason. Because on a different chart, that might have looked better. I mean, that's lovely. No, it's just, I can't get a different, I don't know why. Most I can get is about 300. I just don't get it. That's a real shame, that is. That's look at the reaction off there. That's just lovely. Dagenamit. 2 lovely legs down, picked up those buyers, and woof, off it took. I can only get a couple of hundred difference. It don't look any different. So annoying, that is. That is lovely. Really nice 2 legs back. That's annoying. That's better. That's what I wanted. Oh, damn, that would have been beautiful. Crap. Oh, look at that. Oh, actually, could have been a little bit more bullish. It certainly was on here. Well, good. Eh? Mm. Took the one on your second shot. Yeah, for some reason I couldn't get the two to look different. Two nice legs down with that, right off the perfect place. It's a real shame that, isn't it? We came down, hit them buyers, and it took off. Yeah, it's a shame. I couldn't get much of a difference. It's much better now. I couldn't get much of a difference between these two charts for some reason. ATR low. Wow, the ATR's low today. I'd have to get to 3 1/4 to push through. It's a fair old distance you're going to grab. That's the lowest that ATR's been for a while, I think. I think it was 5 when I got to the charts. So, where can I see sellers? At 60 for certain. 50, 56.25, which is, so I still think this thing's going to continue up. 53-ish. 53.75. That's still quite low, but it is above the high, so took it for 10 ticks. Good on you, mate. On my chart, the bar comes a bit far, the bull channel. Yeah, it's weird how things can change, isn't it? So if I put that right at the bottom there, it's perfect there, perfect there. Fits nice at the top. I'd have preferred it a little higher, but what I like, for me, see this bar here, it's a lower high, isn't it? Or a triple test, so you're likely going to trap shorts there. You know, if it was like this bar here, it's not a lower high. There's the move down. It's a different story. But there, the lower high, you're going to trap shorts there. So I think I'd have a go at that one. What I like about it as well is the second it hit those buys, it took off, and it that's the kind of reaction one will get really rejected. That's the kind of reaction I want from this area. If you look back on the video after, I had buyers there, so it came down, hit the buyers, and then took off. I just happened to glance left at the left chart, and I saw the move quickly. Set mid chart. Let's have a look. Yeah. Yeah, there is a possible small overshoot. The trouble is, sometimes there's an overshoot and you'll get a bigger correction. And if you think about it, that's a perfect example of a correction. Now, for me, what is a correction and what is a move down? That is a channel. I don't think you can look at that and say it's a channel. 2 moves down. Sometimes it'd be the side that you hear me say this many times. I prefer my corrections or legs broad apart. If it was like that, different story. See how broad it is. So for me, that's a correction. It's 2 attempts to push down from this area up here, and as soon as we got down there, I had a mark there showing that there was buyers. I'll have a look back later, and it took off. So for me, after this correction, buyers wanted to get back into price there. So overshoots, it depends. Now, an overshoot typically is a bunch of things can happen. If it's going to reverse, what I'll find is it'll come back, push up, make a new high, and then move down. If it has a correction and it continues up slowly, I don't think it is. So I still think you've got to go on your gut feeling. If I move that up to there, see, we're more or less up to the tick there. That is touched it there. That's touched it. That's broke. So I think that's okay. And on my second chart, it's not even an overshoot. So that's a good idea to have a second chart because it gives you a slightly different perspective. With the slight difference in ticks, so we got 2 bars here. Let me have a look. So you've got that bar there, bearish pin bar. It's a very bearish bar. But so is that one. So when you have a bearish pin bar, you could bring that top down. But that, although that bar's bearish as well, it's not a bearish pin bar, in which case you've got to move the top up. So I'm not too fussed if there's stems there. So I think there's still a judgment call to be made. It's negligible, the overshoot. So your chart could be ever so slightly different. So I tend to see the reaction I get. And then see if we get, but I actually put those bars down there before this move was made. It was working up here slowly because that's what I wanted in an ideal world, a nice correction. We had the same. It's just a damn shame we had an inside bar. And on here, I had them 200 ticks apart. I tried before the stream and I could not get it. I tend to have it above 500, I think. Someone mentioned 600. How that makes a difference, I'm not too sure. But I just want enough of a difference, and I couldn't get it. And I just got it a couple of minutes ago after the trade already happened. But I'd look on both charts. You can see 2 clear legs. It's much clearer on this side. You know, you can see the slow... We have the small push down, the slow grind, it just couldn't get up, and then we get that second strong move down. It's just unfortunate. I couldn't see this, but I would have had a go at that. It was a relatively small risk as well. I don't think it was huge. So if I go a tick above it, I can't remember the last time I saw a 2.25 points. You may even get away with less than that. It's a small risk that for a trade, and it worked beautifully. Now I would probably, what do I get? 3.25. It did that anyway. It's got to hit 3.25. It's gone up to 3.5, so it worked. What I would probably do in that case is just go for 3 points. I'd want it to get above there. That short there, or the lower high there. Once it got above there, I'd be happy with that. See. So you get used to sort of knowing what looks right. I marked that move before it even happened because that's what I was looking on getting in. I didn't want to get in around the middle. The trouble is sometimes he'll hit the middle and push off. Other times he'll hit the middle, you'll trigger it and it'll come down and stop you out and come down to the other side. So if we're in a channel here, I always prefer to take them off the bottom. Now, obviously, if it was a wider channel, and a lot of times it was bouncing off it, it's a different story. But I'm always nervous about taking them at the midline in a two-tiered channel. But under those circumstances, it wasn't too bad. So it's one of those things, isn't it? It's one of those things, but for a correction, it's a beautiful correction because it's nice and broad. You can't confuse that with a channel. It's more or less sideways, but that's a perfect example of what I consider a correction. And then off it moved. I was just gutted. Straight away, I got excited when I saw it. And then I realised it's an inside bar. Sometimes they'll still work, but it's struggling again now, isn't it? See, it's going a bit sideways. You've got what some may consider a triple test there. So my guess is it'll push above there. We are finding a bit of support. But if I took a bearish bar like that, I'd expect to get stopped out on an uptrend. Clear kind of a lower high, and it's ticked below and pushed up. Now we are finding some support there, but if it can get above there, it may find it a little bit easier to continue up. But if I'm looking on Bookmap now, 52.50, just a touch, yeah, 52.50. We got sellers there, one tick above there. So there's a seller looking. If it pushes above there, I'll take a short there. But there are sellers at 53.75, which is there. There are sellers at 56.25, which is there. There are sellers at 60 now, which is a fair bit further up. It's there. And that, at the moment, is indicating to me that price is more likely going to go up. It's hard to say because there are sellers here. So as we're going sideways, you never quite know what's going to happen here. But we've had that big move up overnight, a little bit of a break, couple of messy legs, a couple of legs down, a little bit of sidewards. We had a break, came down, had a couple of bounces, and that's when it started to take off. So I think there's a good chance we make a second leg up here, but that's just based on what I'm seeing at the moment. So this is a bit rangy now, so I'm just sitting tight here. I think it probably will continue up, but I'm just staying out of this at the moment. Tell you something, what I will say, Trump actually is surprising me. If I look at people like Bush, going back then with Iraq, they were quite keen to get in. And so was our idiot of a Prime Minister, Tony Blair, who took us to war on so-called weapons of mass destruction, which never existed. Now, I think a lot of the time, sometimes presidents and prime ministers are too keen to take us to war. But Trump really gives me that impression. He's really looking for a way out of a war. You know, we know he goes on a lot about he stopped wars and stuff. I think he's good for that side of it. You know, love him or hate him, he's not what I would consider very presidential, but Do you want someone that looks good, or is more concerned on doing, the right thing? But unlike a lot of other prime ministers and presidents before, they do seem very keen to take us into war. Yeah, I understand Venezuela. That was more of a small-term thing, wasn't it? Afghanistan. Iran is a kind of a whole new ball game, I think, isn't it? Especially with the possible nuclear side and that. But that was a quick, swift in and out type of a scenario, wasn't it? But he does seem to be giving more and more time. So I certainly get that impression. He's certainly looking for a sort of non-aggressive outcome. Having said that, I think from what I've seen with Iranians, the way they treat their own people, I think that regime needs to get removed. And I think obviously Trump is in the ideal place to do that at the moment. So as much as, you want a peaceful outcome, sometimes, some of these people, the only way they understand is aggression. You certainly don't want someone like Iran having nuclear weapons. Very religious people with nuclear weapons are dangerous. The likes of me and you, we may be sort of religious in the way of Christians, but you certainly wouldn't consider throwing your life away, would you, over religion? And that's kind of a lot of the people in the Middle East, heavily religious. So he certainly doesn't care about his own people, the way he's been slaughtering them. Which is absolutely shocking. So as much as we kind of want a peaceful outcome, I think really under these circumstances, it might be a good thing that they get in there and at least maybe knock their nuclear capabilities back a decade or so. I agree with you to a certain degree, but certain things surprise me about him. So, I suppose we'll know in time. Mind you, there has been rumours flying around lately that he may not have a lot of time left. I mean, health-wise. But it has surprised me how long and how much negotiations they've done with Iran. I mean, Iran doesn't seem to have made any real efforts that they're anyway interested in halting their, nuclear enrichment. Who knows? So, I mean, people usually are judged later on when they've been in and out of their job. So, people and history will look back in time, about what he did. He goes on about stopping wars and stuff with Israel and the Palestinians. So if someone does go down that road and makes things better and a safer place, history will judge him in its own way. But I am surprised how long he's kind of held back with Iran looking for... I mean, he's a businessman, really, isn't he? Some may say a dodgy businessman, but a businessman nonetheless, and businessmen want to kind of do deals. They want to know, that they've got the power to do deals and so on and so forth. Now, this is interesting. Couple of legs back there, cleared out liquidity. Would you go long gear? What? That's a triple test there, isn't it? Would I really want to go long gear? I don't think it's the worst trade in the world. Is it a triple test? It is. There's just something about it. It's not a huge risk. I'm just not super confident at the moment. $12 ticks.
Order submitted.
It's a big ass risk, isn't it? 13 ticks now. Oh my good grief. Perhaps I should have took the one on the left. I'm not getting into that. There's not much room left, unfortunately.
Order cancelled.
I just don't like this little break. Mind you, it's not a huge channel. I much prefer a slightly larger break. I don't like that now. Let's see if we get a lower high that triggers here and gives us a higher low. I think Putin's a different ball game, isn't he? The Russians have massive nuclear power, don't they? The Iranians don't. It's kind of a softer target, for want of a better word. Putin's a whole new ball game, isn't it? Mind you, Putin's made threats against the UK quite a few times lately. That's a bit scary. I don't like him personally. He's a bit odd. He's a bit of an oddball, but I think it's kind of what you do, isn't it? Rather than what you you look like to a degree, depending on what you want. So it looks like this thing is working. I did consider jumping back in because I do like the setup. You could get an ear possibly, but there's not much room left to the top on this side. Down here there was. I wouldn't want to get in above there. What is there? 0.75 at best. At least if you get in from the bottom on the left side, there's a little bit more. It's not reacting how I like, and there does look like a little micro channel there, so if we get a lower high there, we could get a higher low. We'll see. It's only a small break, this, isn't it? It's making me a bit nervous, this. It's struggling to get up. I can't see many traders short in this, really. And not only that, there are a lot of sellers around the 52.5 and a little bit lower, so this thing may struggle. My guess is we'll have a bigger break here. So what I will say is there are buyers at 45. That's a much better break for me. So what I would see that as is a range with a couple of legs down, a failed breakout, 2 legs down, so a channel up, 2 legs out, failed breakout, and then maybe push up to the high. So I'd like to see some kind of a lower high and trap some shorts. There are 163 contracts to buy there, and a little bit further up. It's a tiny break, that. It may continue up nonetheless, but if you look on the left side of the chart, that bar looked in a nice position there, but we had a little channel down there. I think it's important to see what types of traders and what types of bars you're trapping, and I can't see many traders feeling the need to short that. So I wouldn't be surprised in that case if this came down and stopped cleared any possible liquidity down here. And based on that sell order at 45 and some there's also 138 contracts at 46 and a quarter, which is there. Both of those orders are below that bar there, so maybe this is the move. Maybe we got something like that. Leg and leg. Now, I looked at that leg and a leg, and on the left chart, you would have got points out of that. I wouldn't have taken that anyway. It was an inside bar, but on my left chart, that clearly had plenty of room to the highs. Now, I go for 3 and a quarter, which would have worked. Once you got above that, you're likely to get a ticker shove anyway, so that would have worked for me. And it is look like it may just push up. It could do. But it's such a small break. I always get a bit nervous when we get a tiny break, but the size of the channel isn't huge anyway. We'll see if we get these moves. It's a lot of sellers there, 52 and a half, which is right at those highs. So if we got a second leg down here, drop down, hit buyers and sat up there, that would be a beautiful triple test. Do I think we're going to be that lucky and get it? Nope. But it would be nice. It's nice to know what we could have if this gets a second leg down. Now, there are sellers there, so maybe there'll be sellers who will aggressively sell that, as well as the passive ones, which will send us down, break below there to clear liquidity and give us a beautiful triple test. And I wouldn't be surprised if, let's draw that as a first leg and a second leg up. I wouldn't be surprised then if we had this, something like that for a little bit of a correction. We certainly got plenty of space for a possible larger leg up. Now, this is all speculative to a degree. And that may be enough. I know it's a small break, but if it's a couple of legs down, a lot of people will still get into that, even though the break's tiny. And sometimes it just takes a bit of time, but eventually we might come back in 20 minutes and it's up here. But It's taken us an hour to do that. Okay, see what happens when we hit these sellers. Is it just going to push up, or is it going to come back down a little bit? There's still a fair amount of orders up here, so it may work its way up still. That's Dan's chart there. It's pretty much got the same thing we have. 2 legs back, little break here. He hasn't taken that, I can see, would have marked it. He's marked that. I don't know whether he took it partly as a range or whatever, but he didn't mark that. It's quite a big bar anyway. It had a fair amount of wick on it and below the EMA, so yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? Still orders up here, so I wouldn't be shocked if this thing ended up here. Okay, I'm done for the day, I think, guys. We're going for 3¼ hours. I did half an hour before. So I appreciate your company. Best of luck if you get a set. It's not been a great day today. I may come back later after dinner for an hour. I do in the evenings sometimes if it's, if it's quiet in the day, and it's been pretty quiet. So I appreciate your company. Best of luck if you carry on trading. Stay safe. Have a good evening, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.